But by popular demand of LB, we're starting with Chelsea. We're starting with Chelsea, who look, Chelsea had another terrible weekend. And yes, look, Arsenal dropped points, but they're not playing for anything. Let's be really. The league title is over. They're going to make top 4. Man United lost, and we've been cooked for it and criticised. But what's the win really going to do for us in terms of the season? Not too much. But for Chelsea, fighting for a Champions League place, barely winning games, they missed an abundance of chances. They dropped points to a team that's going to get relegated at home. And if you look at their remaining fixtures now, they're very, very hard indeed. The fans booing the way they're playing, Palmer not firing, it feels a mess and really problematic at the moment. Chelsea seems to be crumbling, LB. What was your thoughts on their display at the weekend, and why do you think it went so wrong?
I don't know why it went wrong, but I thought it was poor performance, very poor performance. I thought Palmer just looks out of ideas. This Jackson thing ain't working at all. Just not good, man. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's a confidence issue for Chelsea. They look really low on confidence. Look like they lack ideas. There's a lot of just random balls just being thrown into the box with no real sort of precision or strategy. It's like just lump the ball in the box. And obviously then you see the second goal. Obviously Maresca's crying about the Chelsea fans, which is pretty mad. I actually watched the goal back today and saw it, but I think the Chelsea fans, what I don't get about Maresca is, right, he's blaming the Chelsea fans for booing the goal kick, and that's why the guy went long. But they almost conceded a goal from playing out from the back from the previous free kick anyway. So I don't really understand what Maresca's crying about, to be honest. At the end of the day, the fans are frustrated because obviously the way it's going at Chelsea and the fact that they spent £1.5 billion. And at this moment in time, I don't think they're going to get Champions League football. I think Maresca's under pressure. I do. Because, yeah, he's going to win this Conference League, right? But that's not particularly hard when you've got the squad that he's got, and it's a Conference League. He's got to be getting Champions League football. If he doesn't get Champions League football, the way they fell off, I think it's only 2 wins in the last 9. I don't think that's good enough for Maresca from an outsider's point of view. And they just lack ideas all over the gaff. So, yeah, I actually did a watch along for it. I did a hate along for it, obviously, because they're a rival right now for Champions League. But nah, I think they're done. I'd be very, very, very surprised if they got Champions League football. If you look at the fixtures that they've got, you look at the form that they've got, nah, I think they're done now for me. And it's poor. It's really poor. Palmer looks a shadow of himself. But they all do. They all look out of ideas, to be honest with you, man. It's bad. And now they've still got Sanchez in net. Oh, my days.
Man, in 2025, bruv, Cucurella is their top scorer with 4 goals. That is a shambles, let's be real. Their left-back's their top scorer. Like, they have been poor in front of goal. There's no doubting that they have created chances that they fluffed their lines with. But this is why people like myself and LB questioned them up front and said, why didn't they go and get an Osimhen or a Gyökeres? Why have they still got Sanchez in goal after spending 1.5 billion? We come and echo the same stuff. And the reason we're doing it is because we're still stunned that you can actually start a project, look at the recruitment, look at build squad and say, right, let's leave the goalkeeper and the striker till last. Let's just go and stack the midfield, get a load of players that are going to be good in 5 years' time. And majority of our 1.5 billion is going to go on our reserves. Because that's what they've done. They've spent a hell of a lot of money on players that are 20 and younger. They've got about 9 goalkeepers, right? None of them are better than Petrovic, who's out on loan. Yeah, they've all been worse than him. At the back, they've got Tosin, and they've got Badia Shiwe, and they've got Colwill, and they've got, obviously, Fofana, who's injured again. That ain't good enough to go and take a title. Yeah. Then you've got this situation up top, which is, let's be real, nothing but a disgrace. When you look at what Chelsea over the years have been kind of built on, it's frustrating that Arsenal have not, in my opinion, gone and got that kind of striker. But Chelsea are in the same situation because I grew up on Ian Wright and I had Bergkamps and Nelkas, Van Persies, Henrys, Aubameyangs, etc. You look at what Chelsea have grown up on. They've always had top strikers, whether it's Torandre Flo, whether it's Zola, whether it's Drogba, whether it's Hasselbank and Gudjonsson. And you look at it now, and it's Jackson and then Mark Guy, and they want Tariq George to come and play up front now. I mean, they've spent 1.5 billion, and they're asking for Tariq George to go up front.
Guess how many goals Osimhen scored this year, bro?
29.
29. 6 assists.
Yeah. I looked at it earlier.
That's mad.
Yeah.
Do you remember when the Chelsea fans, bro, was in the chat saying that Osimhen's what? I mean, we've already done this. We did this last week or the week before. We brought it up on screen, didn't we? All the Chelsea fans in the comments of the video saying Osimhen's crap. Why the LB always speak about this guy? Well, now you got Jackson up top and then Kunku, who, by the way, is terrible. Well, Osimhen has scored 29 goals. 6 in the Europa League, 21 in the league. So that guy's slamming. Yeah, it's poor, man. It's poor. Listen, I don't know whose decision it was not to sign a striker. Is that the manager? Is that the board? I don't know. Chelsea fans will know that. Yeah, I'm not a Chelsea fan. I don't know that yet. All I can say is the fact they've not got a striker is an absolute disgrace, really. The fact any Chelsea fan, if there's any Chelsea fans out there that thought going into this season with Jackson as your striker was a good idea, then you don't know ball. And I say it again, and I know Terry will probably think, he says this every week, but I've got to say it, Terry, yeah, because the fact they've got Sanchez in net in 2025 is an absolute embarrassment. And I know I just repeat the same thing every week when I speak about it, yeah, but it's embarrassing they've got him. I'm not a Chelsea fan yet. I watch him. I'm thinking, how is he getting paid this dough, yeah, for playing Premier League football and his mad contract?
Is he the worst, LB, in the league?
I called this out. Start to say, I think he is. I think he's the worst goalkeeper in the league. Genuinely do. I think he's awful. And the manager for me, I think the manager has got a lot of stuff wrong this year. I think earlier in the season when they were in a title race and then he come out and said they're not in a title race, I thought that was a big mistake because he just let the pressure off the players, which was not good. I didn't think his comments about the Chelsea fans at the weekend were particularly clever from him. To be honest with you, like you don't want to start.
He needs them on. He needs them on side. You look at the difference with Amorim, exactly, and I know Amorim's made mistakes. Amorim does this thing where he's like, "I'm humble, but I don't even know why you're singing about me. I've done nothing for you." And I think the one thing I think Amorim's got in his favor, I think he knows the right things to say, if that makes sense. So it's in terms of with the fans, basically blaming. I remember Graham Potter did that, not to Chelsea, but he did it to Brighton, where he said, stop telling the players to shoot from distance. They're probably not going to score. Keep quiet and let them keep passing. I don't think you do things like that. I think you keep quiet with those things. Definitely.
I think Maresca, to me, I think, look, we say the team's not good enough. But actually, when you look at what he should be doing, he should be winning that Conference League. And he should be getting qualifying for the Champions League after spending that much money on the team. Yeah. Not that he spent it all.
I don't put it all on Maresca though, because again, this is about Chelsea fans having honest and balanced conversations, and I'm imploring United fans to do the same energy. There's definitely been mistakes.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do an exercise in a minute where we go through their signings and like hit or miss type thing.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, we're gonna go through that and have a look at that, because the one thing. And I'm just going to say, I think I overhyped their squad in the summer in December. This weekend just gone, yes, there was some awful defending for a 10 to 15-minute period that cost them 2 goals. What the hell Cucurella was doing for both goals, I don't know. Levi Colwell sleeping as an example. Jamie Carragher called out, why was Chalobah in a centre-back position when he was playing at right-back, etc. But the missed chances from the Jacksons again of this world. Yes, there were some great saves by Palmer in the first and second half for Ipswich, but they have the second worst conversion rate in the league of big chances. So they only convert 7.7% of their big chances where you expect people to score, and they've missed the most in the league at 73 of them. They've missed 73 big chances. That for me, I'll be fair, and I'm keeping the same energy at my club. When I see Garnacho, for instance, against City, decide to volley it, then decide to header it, and then it hits his shin and rolls to Ederson, that should go in. That should be a goal by the Premier League level. I don't care if you're Man United, Liverpool this season, or Southampton. I expect every professional attacker to score from that position, by and large. So I can't blame Amorim for that miss, if that makes sense. The one that Garnacho had where he got put through on goal against Spurs. I know the whole world, including every Spurs fan, and you can tell by the noise in the stadium, went, it's a goal. And then he skies it over by about 10 yards. I can't blame a manager for that. And so I think Maresca needs better players. But I wanted to show you guys this. I showed it 2 weeks ago and it got shut down on. This is a revised version based on the points per game over the last 16 matches. And it's based on the amount of chances that teams create and score and chances that they concede, the chances they concede and goals they concede. But this is the projected final league table of the season, what they're kind of projecting to right now. With Chelsea's performances and their lack of wins in the last 15, 16 games, Chelsea are tracking to come in 7th. If that happens, if this is how the league table finishes, and I don't even think it looks crazy. Maybe Arsenal don't have quite as many points, but I don't think anybody would be shocked by this league table. And no one would be shocked based on all of these teams' recent and season-long performances. I think City coming 5th. I don't think any City fan would go, that's a crazy take. Newcastle are flying as an example. Forest, they've, in fairness, Forest on a little bit of a poor run, so maybe if that continues. But
they
Chelsea
might finish a bit lower, but it's not crazy.
But they might do because, but Chelsea coming 7th based on everything that's gone on for the past 4 months.
Worse than Poch.
Mate, worse finish than Poch, but the scariest part about it is they started well. And they were 1 win away from going top of the league in the middle of December. Since then, it's been 5 wins, and they haven't beaten a team above them in the form table since the middle of December.
Well, you know what would be interesting to see? It'd be interesting to see what date did Maresca come out and say that they're not in a title race, even though they were at the time.
Let's find out.
And then look at the fixtures. Look at the fixtures from then and see if they sort of like dropped off after that. Because I don't know if you guys agree, and I don't know what the chat's saying, but like I just don't think he should have said that. I don't think he should have said that. Because at the time, if you remember, as you just said, Terry, they were in a title race.
He said it on he said it on Christmas Eve.
There we go.
He said it on Christmas Eve, right?
And funny enough, that was the Everton, Ipswich, and Fulham games they all couldn't win. Funny that, because they were the only 3 they had. Remember, they had those 3 teams. It might have even been Southampton as well that they did win. That was it. The others, they absolutely like.
In fairness, he said it as well. So again, there's a Facebook post here from the 29th of November when he said it, but there's also a post here from Fabrizio Romano on the 24th where he said, "We are not in the title." So he'd been saying, in fairness, he'd said it a few weeks before they went off the boil. But I don't think it was the right. But that was coupled in with their players saying we never look at league tables. I actually think maybe slightly the other way, LB, but connected. I think they tried to pretend they weren't thinking about a title race. I think they were. I think the pressure got to them of being in the title race. I don't think they handled it very well at all.
I just don't think he should have said that. I think he should have said, we are in a title race right now.
Since he said it, when you said he'd said it, they drew to Everton 0-0. They lost to Fulham. They lost to Ipswich. They drew to Palace. They drew to Bournemouth. They lost to City, and they lost to Brighton twice, and they lost to Villa.
Yeah, it was the 24th. It was the 24th that he said it, and then the very next game was the 2-1 loss to Fulham. And after that game, he said, the headline here is Chelsea are not feeling the pressure of a title race. So even after that loss, he said that this is nothing to do with the pressure of a title race. And you're right, actually, there, LB, that maybe that's just taken the sting out of the team. It's taken the pressure off, and they've relaxed a bit. Maybe,
The silly thing to say, man.
This is Chelsea Football Club we're talking about here, and it was in December, and they was in a title race. Why is he coming out saying that? But I don't think he should have said that, yeah. But at the same time, I don't really criticize Maresca that much in terms of like it's his fault, because ultimately he's an inexperienced young manager, so he's gonna get stuff wrong. He's gonna say stuff wrong. He's gonna do wrong tactics. He's gonna start the wrong players. He might do the wrong formation sometimes. Why? Because he's young and he's inexperienced. Arteta would have gone through the same thing. I'm sure Pep Guardiola went through the same thing. I'm sure Fergie in his first couple of years at Aberdeen or whatever probably did the same thing. Like, they all make mistakes on different scales. But if Chelsea, and this is why I think for me, it goes again, as a fairly obvious statement, but it goes again back to the board. Yeah, I think the way 100%. The board have handled Chelsea since they've took over from Roman Abramovich has been absolutely it's just been a disaster.
I mean, look, TJD here says that is correlation trying to equate causation. No one is saying it's that statement led to this. No one is saying it's one thing. We have spoke about the lack of experience, the lack of leaders, too many young players. We spoke about individual players not being good enough, as in Sanchez, Jackson being up front, the manager being inexperienced, coupled with saying these things. So I don't think Chelsea's fall off this season. The same as if you look at the game at the weekend against Ipswich, you didn't lose points just because defensively you went asleep for 10 minutes. You didn't lose points just because Palmer in goal for Ipswich had a brilliant game. You didn't just lose points because Jackson and others, Neto, Palmer, missed some very good chances. It's a combination of those things, and we know that. But we are going to have periods of time in a 90 to 2 hour long, hour and 20 minute show where we focus on specific areas. No one said, brother, the reason they fell off was because the manager said they weren't in a title race. No one specifically said that is the central, sole, or biggest reason. So I get your point, but nobody said that, brother. No one said it at all. Viewers, get the like button here if you haven't done so already, and make sure you get yourself subscribing to the Terrace if you haven't done that, and get the bell notification turned on.